Hi Internet, I'm Tango, and these are Tango's takes. And the take for this week is how do you value your time? Now, that's a loaded question. Honestly, this is directly related to commuting to work. How long of the commute? Fighting for the right to work from home if your job is the kind of thing where working from home should be an option. But this requires us to define a few things. The first thing we need to define is what is your time? For purposes of my examples and what I had to think about, your time requires you to, one, be awake. So sleeping is not your time, it's a required thing. And two, one of the two following things must be true. Your time must either benefit you directly for how it is used, or you are free to choose what you will do with it. So this does make work part of your time. Work has the benefit of giving you the income needed to pay bills, to have a place to live, to buy food, to entertain yourself, etc. I'm going to call that a necessary evil. Most people have a job. All right. Now comes the annoying part. We're seeing a lot of the great resignation. People refusing to work underpaid jobs they don't want to deal with getting to, etc. Because that's what the great resignation is about. We're also seeing people who are being told, well, if you don't return to the office, you can go find another job. And much to their employer's surprise, the answer is, okay, bye. Why is that? The answer is these people value their time and they place a higher value on it than the benefit they are getting from that job. So, let's do some math. There are 168 hours in a week. If you average, and I'm being optimistic here, 8 hours of sleep per night, 7 days a week, you are sleeping for 56 hours of the week. That is not your time. So you have 112 hours of your time available to you. If you have a 30-minute commute to work, and I'm assuming it's 30 minutes each way. I know there are plenty of places where time of day, time of the commute, etc., is going to impact, and you might have an easier drive in than home or vice versa. If you have a 30-minute commute to work, that is an hour a day, 5 hours a week. It is 4.5% of your time that is not available to you. 4.5% of 112 hours every week. Double that commute to an hour, 10 hours a week, where you can't do anything you want and there is no benefit to it. You are moving between a place you can do what you want and a place that you are getting a direct benefit. 9% of your time. That's starting to get significant already. I know plenty of people with commutes around an hour and 15 minutes. That is 2.5 hours of day of commuting time. That's 12.5 hours a week. That is 11% of your weekly time that you can't use. It's 11% of the weekly time available to you that has no value, that you have no say in what you're doing with it other than getting between two locations. If you're one of those people with an hour and a half commute, 3 hours a day, 15 hours a week, and I was offered a phenomenal paying position for this. 13% of your time. 13% is kind of painful. I used to live in the DC area. I got an interview for a position. They were all very excited about it. We were going into details. Everything sounded promising. And they're like, by the way, there's no parking. You will have to take the metro in. Now, if you're not from the DC area, the metro is a I don't want to call it a light rail and I don't want to call it a subway. It is a train of sorts. The metro can also refer to the buses, but in this case, I'm specifically referring to the train because I lived 5 minutes from one end of the metro line and I could stay on that line the entire way in. The compensation package did not cover the cost of riding the train in every day. It was a little shy of that. And it was specifically the mass transit compensation. Specifically, because they wanted you to commute during the highest, busiest times, the high capacity times when the fares are higher. And the compensation package didn't cover the high fares. They're like, well, you could read a book, or you could listen to music, or you could just sleep. And I'm like, okay, other people might be able to do that. I cannot. I will miss the stop. I will not be able to focus on the book. I will get motion sickness, honestly, usually. And I will not be able to tune out the world around me for the book or the podcast that I'm listening to or the music I'm listening to. I valued my time too much for that to be an option. And I have turned down more than one job out here. I have had positions pitched to me that would increase my pay 50 to 100%. They involve a 20-minute drive to the interstate, a 10-minute drive to the next two-row highway that ranges between 2 and 4 lanes through the middle of nowhere. But that road gets busy. That trip without traffic, without weather, is an hour a day. It is more likely to be an hour and 15 to an hour and a half. I value my time too much and I keep turning them down. How do you value your time? How much of your time are you giving up to commuting to a job? Can you get more value out of your time by taking a lower paid job that let you work from home or is closer to home? Because people have absolutely made that decision and have been happier for it. The question you have to ask is that decision going to make you safe, happy, and healthy out there? So I can see you next time.